Every one of us carries a weight that doesn't exist in the physical world. Centuries ago, on a treacherous mountain path, a student collapsed under a burden that no one else could see. He was trembling, sweat pouring down his face, as if he were hauling a ton of iron. Yet, if you looked at his hands, they were completely empty. The weight was internal, a relentless loop of every insult he had ever received, every mistake he had ever made, and every regret that refused to stay immetasked. This wasn't a bad mood, it was a paralyzing force. Exhausted by the mental torture, he sought out his Zen master, desperate for a way to find peace. In the quiet of a monastery courtyard, the master listened to the boy's plea, but he didn't offer a prayer or a meditation technique. Instead, he handed the boy a simple, empty basket woven from bamboo. The master pointed towards the highest peak of the mountain, towering over the monastery. He was setting up a diagnostic test, a way to move the student's invisible crisis into the physical world, where he could finally see it for what it was. The master gave him one rule: walk to the top, but every time you remember a past anger, a grudge, or a regret, you must pick up a rock from the path and place it in your basket. The student began the climb with a clear mind. For the first few hundred yards, his steps were light and unhindered. Then a memory surfaced, a friend who had betrayed him years ago. He stopped, picked up a stone, and dropped it into the basket. A few minutes later, he remembered a failure that still made him blush with shame. He added a second, larger rock. As the trail grew steeper, he began to worry if he was even capable of reaching the peak, and that self-doubt became the third stone. We see the cumulative effect here. Each memory is a unit of cognitive load. As blocks fill the container, intrusive thoughts consume our finite mental bandwidth. When the load reaches its limit, the strain becomes unsustainable, and progress halts. Halfway up the mountain, the student hit that limit. He collapsed into the dirt, his lungs burning, and the basket overflowing with jagged stones. As he struggled to breathe, he looked up to see the master walking beside him, moving with total grace and lightness. The student gasped, "Master, the basket is too heavy. I cannot carry my past and climb this mountain at the same time." The master smiled. The test had served its purpose. The student finally saw that the rocks weren't a necessary part of the climb. They were a choice. Our lives look different than that mountain path, but our minds do the exact same thing. We walk through our days unconsciously filling our own baskets with invisible rocks, wondering why we feel so exhausted by noon. Those rocks are the arguments we win in our heads hours after they've ended, the embarrassments we refuse to forget, and the constant worry about what others think of us. The Buddha compared holding on to anger to grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This weight provides no benefit and offers no protection. It is a burden that only harms the person choosing to carry it. Finding a quiet mind isn't about winning a battle against your thoughts or becoming strong enough to endure the pain. It comes from the realization that the basket is optional. Reaching the peak doesn't require more effort. It requires letting go. Drop the rocks today, lighten the load, and see how much higher you can climb when you finally choose to walk with empty hands.